I'm not your friend anymore, I told you after you pushed me onto the schoolyard floor. A fight that would last our whole hour of recess, the only time we weren't expected to be at our best. And then we'd go back in a single file line, back for religion class right on time, sat in the chapel where we were the same, plaid tie around our necks and matching bows in our manes, navy blue jumper with matching knee-high socks, and navy blue shoes that squeaked and crackled as we walked. Hair curly, straight or braided, but tied back just the same. Equal, uniform, one and the same. We all fought over the same innocent things, who liked who and what that even means. Boys and toys, Walkmans and TV, who watched Degrassi, MTV, and BET. Some of us were in choir and some in bell chorus, mostly just to avoid our homeroom chores. We'd laugh at things we couldn't even understand, and reassured one another for every couldn't or can't. Our friendship and love was so unconditional until we grew older and learned views oppositional. The outside world corrupted our thoughts and feelings as we learned of human rights, politics, money, and glass ceilings. We reached middle school and began to see how different we really are, our differences that made us so familiar, now seemingly so bizarre. We went from clubs to cliques and separated ourselves, not even realizing it was all externally compelled. We'd never had these issues within the yellow and blue walls of our elementary school classrooms that were friendly to all, but as kids grow older, their souls grow corrupted by adults, media, TV, radio, and a society that disrupted our happiness and sense of belonging to a community where we were all one, uniformly, equally. It was so sad to watch as we all started high school, that we'd competed so hard against each other to get into, as though we hadn't grown up together in the same schools. You would have thought we'd never met in our lifetimes, as best friends became enemies who then had no one for their downtimes. We learned the difference between curly hair and straight, and clashed on our opinions about sexuality and race, people beginning to hate one another solely for where they came, from the ice slips or Brentwood suddenly such a big deal because one place seemed fake and the other too real. We segregated ourselves between the blacks, whites, and Hispanics, and suddenly it mattered whether you were musical or athletic. The smart kids became nerds and the players became jocks, and suddenly these high school kids' prayers became mocks of our principles and morals we originally held as plain school children whose friendship was once unparalleled. We had been taught that we were all the same under the eyes of the Lord, but also that we weren't for the sake of the outside world. It's been some time now since I've seen my Catholic schoolmates. Life has torn us all apart in all different ways. No real meaningful connection or communication, but definitely not caused solely by location. Some of us live relatively close to one another, but realistically so far, in principle, from each other. The politics of high school have surmounted into our adult lives, and now we all experience the same strife that we once learned from the adults we didn't understand, who perhaps without meaning to taught us to hate with each little command. The moral and political differences we now have has taken away the friendship we once had. The equality, uniformity, now torn. I guess you're not my friend anymore.